Hey, recording has started. It is February 23rd, 2024, and welcome to
Heat Zone.
I'm going to pop off with a plug. The plug is my website is OTCmethod.com. And this website is a place where you can go to get hundreds of videos, including essentials videos, to explain a lot about how the OTC market works. I've been at this for a very long time now, well before 2019. Um, Articles that I've written about different things with regard to OTC trading, psychology, live chat, live Discord where I'm working all day, where you can get my take on things. And then every single night, a shorter video that is cut into chapters for you by ticker so you can get into all that's going on. Just get it. With what's happening in the market. Something that's coming and we're close and it's a deal that's going to be really good or whatever. And where I'm from on this setup, I'm just from here, actually, just this area. Every single weeknight, pre-recorded, so you can just digest it as quickly as possible. So that's my plug. You got to handle it. You got to handle it because I don't do this enough to get. I don't know how people get paid at this, and I'm not gonna sell you ball shavers because I'm focused on this OTC market. I'll tell you that this week for me, I found it to be very, very, very slow. Very slow. And by the way, if you're watching this, jump in and hit me with a question about anything you're curious about OTC markets trading or trading in general. I'm here for you because I see people, they're asking questions on Twitter to just random dudes. And I figured, why not be here and answer some of these questions and talk about real risk management and do something that gives back in a way while pumping my service. You know what I mean? Which I think is the best. So hit me up with those questions. I'll talk you through what I'm working on, what I've been working on, because I think that would be the best way to go. So let's just jump into it. Steve. So I can't believe it's been, gosh, when did we pick that up? I mentioned it here as well. Well, that's a great question, my cat boots. And the guy says epic. The guy says epic, so therefore, I'm gonna have to take him at face value. I'm gonna have to take him at face value, pal. You know what I mean? That's all I can. That's all I can really do. Take him at face value. But we had noted. I can't believe it's been this long now. On the 13th, 10 days ago, that this guy has been tweeting about how that he has a transaction coming. And he hadn't really said the magic words with regard to whether or not it was a merger, just transaction. And he tweeted a couple times before. I didn't notice, and finally got picked up on it. And they said they're getting closer to a deal. And then this week, he finally said the magic word, the M word, merger. And as you know, in the OTC market, reverse merger is the number one catalyst. Can I be lit in my life? Like what am I doing? I'm changing color. I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't need that. Is this Google doing this to me? Is this the Google? You heard this? Is this the Google doing this to me? You heard this at all or no? Thank you. So now he says that he's got a merger, 10 days. Hope to deliver epic news, which is great. We don't know how epic it is, but I thought, why not see where it goes. And it was very, very, very tough for a few days, very slow. And finally, yesterday, when he said the merger word, that was it. Finally got underway. And, I love the idea of it. I'd love to see it get some more legs. And I just can't get lit. And we'll see what happens next week. So 10 days from yesterday, calendar days, that'll put us smack dab into the next week. And I guess we'll see what the merger is, and hopefully the anticipation leading up to it will continue to a nice sustained move. So if you picked that up with me, congratulations. Good so far. Good so far, for sure. Psych. So Psych, we had noted, was it the week before last? These are all blending together now on V-Day. That we had seen a ownership filing of Brett Rosen from RB Capital, known for Opti and Eyeless and many other big runs. And certainly a resurgent hit now, also known as Mortal George Enemy. Oh boy, here we go. Happy Friday, Frank. How long do people have to anticipate things for you? Like, how long for you does something have to be anticipated? On average, would you say? What is the time frame on that, Frank? Hmm, good. So, psych, we noticed no response. And if it's a delayed response, I'm taking it as no response. SC13G for Brett Rosen, um, a large chunk, 60 million. Was hanging out with it for a while, and then I just had a crisis of confidence where I was like, oh my god, like maybe I don't understand what this filing means. Maybe um, well, there you have it. As long as it takes. Maybe nobody cares anymore. Maybe there's no buyers left in the OTC. I don't know. And so over the course of the week, slowly but surely, I was just like, why am I here? And burnt it off flat. But I'd obviously been using my price action oscillator, which is similar to a MACD. It only measures price action, not volume. And I thought, if it did cross the zero line on the oscillator, I was going to try again to see if at some point this went from the back burner investment for this person to the front burner. And so picked it up today on the cross, mentioned it live in the chat, 1718. And thank goodness I did, because it was just red hot and crazy buying. And I don't know what the scoop is here, but like just crazy buying. Look at this in one shot. So maybe there's something coming here that's exciting. Setup wise, it's good. Like, this is excellent. Even fully diluted, it's excellent. Like, if you contrast that with Spoozy share structure wise, like, I mean, it's a shockingly good setup, this psych. And maybe it's finally time to see some upside on this thing, because it's been languishing for years. And people have often said, oh, well, it'll get underway at some point. And 3 years later, never moved. And now today, the best volume it's, I think, ever seen, save for in the heat of COVID, February 2021, which we know was the greatest month of OTC trading in history. Never been seen before. So is it time for a new move on this? I guess we'll find out. Um, Failed trade for me on Tide Rock. I got burnt on this on Monday badly, and in a really nasty way. I experienced a decent move on it on the Friday, last Friday, and was very, very pleased with it. Um, in the morning, I woke up Tuesday morning because it was the long weekend. Tuesday morning, I wake up and it's getting sold into, and I just reacted and unloaded it into three. And I did that because like this seems to be oftentimes the experience that I'm receiving in the last couple years of trying to hold an OTC. Like for me to experience anything but getting instantly shit on would be outside of the norm, frankly. And then I thought, maybe I need to loosen up a bit. Maybe I need to give something a chance. And they had decent news, and so I picked it up again. I picked it up again around 32 as it was bouncing, and uh, they just started selling and selling and selling. And at that point, it had already sold. Then it recovered. I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to be okay. Fine, I did it. And then it immediately dive bombed through, and I had to make the choice. I had to make the choice to either bag it or take the loss. And I don't bag. I'll saw my arm off before I bag. And then cut it at 22, 32 to 22, which really set off a chain of events for me, like psychologically as a psychologically as a trader and as a trader of this OTC, where I had begun to question everything, and begin to consider, like, as much as I love this, and I do, are the gains where they need to be for people to stick with it? Is the pace that things move where they need to be? Like, can I put together a living at this now? And I lived in that headspace all week, and continue to, frankly, because I'm finding it very, 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 very tough to experience organic movement on something, because of where we're at for dollar volume. And it was exacerbated by the fact that I am watching every other market just go straight to the moon, just absolutely through the roof. And I'm sitting here going, oh, okay, well, there's a bid now, and oh, the bid disappeared, and I'm going, is this the right thing? And I don't know if I have the answer. And I look at, there's a lot of things that I did that did nothing. I mean, this herb. I mean, you got the Manny Pacquiao thing, that was good. Obviously, my pick, not that, whatever that is not very good. What the hell? Good golly. You got the Manny Pacquiao thing, which I thought was a really excellent catalyst, a phenomenal catalyst, and it's holding up. But at this point, I could have just dumped it all and walked away and never been. I would say at this. So I would, last year, if you knew me and if you were an OTC method, I was still really, I guess, a believer that they're coming back. And this setup is so great. They won't be able to resist it. Oh my God. And then there were a few stocks that did well, but like when I calculated all the ones that I held hoping that I would get continuation, even on a good catalyst, versus the ones that actually moved, like the ones that did nothing versus the ones that moved, I realized that the hit rate was so low. Like the probability of the continuation on it was so low that my capital was just collecting dust. And so kind of at the end of last year, I said, if there was a trade on something and I'm, 3, 4 days into it with 0 movement, 0 volume, uh, you know, uh, I'm gonna try and put my money to work elsewhere, and that's where I'm getting to. Now, I do like this one a lot though, and you can see this 30s rounding off and it's not losing the line, and I do feel like there could be a lot more exposure to go with this Manny Pacquiao thing. I'm shocked it has struggled. Um, and then, I moved over to this RSCI, and then I had this RSCI and it closed okay, but I had a decent trade on this 25 to 5 and then picked it up again 71 for another move and waited a few days for a move and then just popped up and it got whacked flat and now starting all over, or NNAX. I mean, this is the best trip there is, period. But what it lacks is that uh sell, so I'd say for me now it's 3-4 days neonite, unless I'm absolutely in love with it. This lacks that catalyst. Someone keeps buying this, and from a share structure perspective they're getting it close to maxed out. But interestingly enough, people say, well, if they raise it then it's done. But that's not always true, because like sometimes when they raise it, now they've got the capital to give out to guys, and that's the beginning of the pump. But I mean, I look at the time I've spent in this 2 ticking now for a month and going like, how much capital can you expend for the level of movement that we're getting, before you go, you know what, I could, I'll go do something else. I don't know. And that's like, obviously for me, I'm very committed to this market. I've sacrificed everything for it. And so my answer is to keep on pushing. But I hear people asking me that question. What am I doing? And um, that's something that is getting tougher and tougher to answer right now. Especially when you see this happening and you go, well, what am I doing? I don't know sometimes. And I hate to be uh yeah, I think Neonite, honestly, the place that I've gotten to is like it used to be, if someone will come around, they'll always come around. And now there's less. And I read the most 2024 ass shit today. Did you see this? This guy. You won't believe this. Maybe I can't find it now. I'll find it. You won't believe this. Look at this. The boring 8% return in the stock market is only boring because you don't have a lot invested. Getting 8% on a $500,000 portfolio is a 40K gain. That's not boring. If you focus on a larger principal amount, investing more, the boring 8% becomes fun. And like that attitude right there. I mean, oh, okay. Let me just grab it. Duh. Winning. Right? Let me just grab a quick 500K. That's all it is. And that's the shit. Yeah, that's it, Neonite. That's all you got to do. But that right there is why I stick with this market, because I believe that your average person doesn't. I don't have that shit. Are you kidding? Have you seen the last couple of years we've had out here? My goodness. But that attitude out here, your average person doesn't have that type of capital, and they also don't necessarily, like, they say they're doing options all the time, but one loss could have you, one wrong move could have you waiting until your next paycheck to try again. And so I look at this and I'm going, this is the place for retail traders. This is the place for regular Joes. And the reason I think it's still tough, it's there are some bright spots, but the reason I think it's still tough, here's your dollar volume column. The reason I think it is still tough is because people have been eaten alive by inflation and cost of living, to the point that that they no longer have the capital necessary to try their hand at this. And so to me, I'm like, what is the next thing? Like, what is I was a sandwich artist, and there was like a little copyright thing at the end of the word artist, so it looked like artiste, because I'm fancy like that. Ho.
Bag.
And so I'm just wondering, like, when does it change? Like, and can we all make it to the other side? And I'm doing everything I can to make it to the other side, but for a lot of people, the dream's dying. Look at these figures. Do you know the marks person? Not marksman. Do you know the marks person that you have to be to realize a gain on something that's only pulling 13 grand a day? There's a few, but I mean, and then the precision. And so I'm going, okay, like, I gotta push through to the other side. Unbelievable. I gotta push through the other side, but it's sure been a long journey. And I don't know when regular folks are finally gonna get to take a breath. I don't know, but I don't know anyone that feels they're doing better outside of like 1% people that feels overall they're doing better in their life. So where's the disconnect? And so, I'm sitting there and I'm going, I'm such a fool. And that's really been my struggle lately. But anyways, all I can do is manage risk and burn shit off before I go big red, over and over and over and over again until I break through. There you go. There you go. That's all you got to do. Just hope a pumper mistypes. But even that, like, it's a strange time, man. It's a strange time. And I don't know what's next for us. I know that I got to keep pushing, and I'm going to keep pushing. And if you'd like someone who's absolutely on your side every single day with this and is actually living a real retail trader's life and the lessons that come with it, and you'd like to support this business, OTC Method, I think you'd get a lot out of it. And I know it's not necessary. Like, I mean, Steve, we were there absolutely first. Uh, Psych, I mean, obviously that guy was first because he had the filing come out. But you know, I'm there, and so I'm gonna keep pushing. Other interesting things going on. GBAT. I'm the Batman. I don't know if you know that. GBAT Daily Cross, and I wanna show you Filge. This is called the Grayscale Filecoin Trust. And if you think Filecoin is like a really good crypto, like this looks like it's moved a lot. It hasn't. It's moved like 60% this year after getting shit on. Like in all, you know, from October, it moved 130%. And then they got this ETF of it that did like 500%. Look at this. Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust 11 to 60. How is Stellar Lumens? Is that a good crypto? I've never even heard of it. How much did that move? 90%, and then GXLM went 500%. Like the skew on these ETFs is crazy. And so I always feel that GBAT setup is the most unbelievable one, because this moved from 21, listen to this, 19 to 25, and went from $1 to $9. And now we're looking at this thing crossing again. So I have a lotto there. I know it's not terribly liquid. I understand. But these are the ones, man. These are the ones. NNAX, I still like it a lot. And really looking for that breakthrough. I'm really looking for an opportunity to be more, to be in something and work the levels and be like, hey, stay above this, and then work the levels and work the 30s and get some kind of lasting liquidity. That's really what I'm looking for. Because this is becoming a real tough puzzle. Real tough puzzle. So if there's anything on your mind, I'm your guy. You got to hit me up, though. You got to let me know. I'm going to start working through, what should I work through? I'll work through advancers while we talk it out. RDGL, so this is also known as canine sarcoma. I don't know if you knew that. That's what it's called, canine sarcoma. And I had made a song about canine sarcoma back in 20, yeah, certainly not 2023, way back, 2018. I made the song. It was called Canine Sarcoma, and it was celebratory of it. Celebratory of canine sarcoma. But this woman who has a dog, you see, she's a dog owner, felt that my song Canine Sarcoma was one that was disrespectful to canines that had sarcoma. You see? And I believe that she got triggered by it. But anyways, what's the thought? The thought is that it doesn't move. The thought is that you could spend another year in this, I guess, and get 0%. And that's the thought on a lot of these. Like there's nothing. What is to say? Look at this. What is to say about that? Because I think that's where we have to get to. We have to get to the point where we stop just wasting our time in things that aren't moving on this OTC. Because like the only thing that I would say to that is, like, let's say you said, well, I can be invested in this long term because they've got a great balance sheet, tons of revenue, or not a lot of debt, or they never do a reverse split or whatever it is. And maybe you'd be right, but this does do that. Like there's another split there, 16, 19, and on and on and on. And so this is a cash burning machine that gives you no price action. Like, I mean, why would you be here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you be here? And the way you have to tackle this OTC instead of just sitting there and farting around forever is to go, okay, you know what? Like, what's the difference? You sell it here, and let's say you really believe in it. You know, you sell it here and you use that money on like real liquid moving runners. Boom, 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 boom. All the things, and you try your hand at some good trades and whatever. Right? You sell it for 53, knowing that they split it every 4 years and nonstop dilution. So you sell it at 53 and you say, "Hey, break 57 and maybe I'll buy it back and see," and then set a stop on 57. So just say stay above 57 if you're any good, and then cut it if it starts going through 57 again. Like, what's worse as far as opportunity cost goes, right? Because my thought here is that you can pray for the once a year pump and not make any money at all for a very long time and potentially get totally fucked if they do a reverse split on it. Which is why, you really need to be agile with it. I know it's not the answer you want, but I mean, if you want my thoughts, what is GRNQ? Uh-oh, are you ready? Oh, well, there's your first warning. Nice little move. I'm not a real patterns guy. Like that, you wouldn't say I'm a patterns guy, would you? Because I just say one good day back to flat, one good day back to flat, one good day back to flat. Split. What is good about this? Fluff ass consulting stuff in Asia. Financial services, pure fluff. What am I missing? Balance sheet any good? They make money, or take a look. Assets decent. Total assets 14 mil. Liabilities are pretty limited in contrast, which is nice. This is is this in thousands? No. So they'll make around 3 million bucks this year. Cost of sales 1.9, so they'll end up with $1 million. But then total loss. So accumulating losses every quarter. Except for here. And the only reason it's not a loss is it's a reversal of an impairment of another investment. So it's not actually generating any cash. I did. It's funny that people have mentioned this to me. I did hear about this UCPA, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So if you don't know the story, here's the story. Well, that sounds really good, Flo. Count me in.
Bag.
I mean, at that point with that GRNQ, you're just praying that some guys in China pump it, right? That's pretty much it. That it gets like a small cap China pump. Right? That's the strategy. No. Well, it's probably more effective than some of this shit lately. Okay. Making Sciences now owns 80% of UCPA, Making Science. And Making Science Group, if you don't know, is so they did this in September though. And the reason that I've been a little bit not diving all over it is because it happened in September and no one has reacted to it at all. Right? But with that being said, excellent revenues on Making Science, a lot of growth. They do have a stock already, so that's millions of euros. You could see that their projected growth is just massive. And they bought 80% of this UCPA. Now the question is, people are saying, well, are they going to merge into UCPA? And the problem is that they are already publicly traded, but just on European markets, like in Spain and stuff. And they are a digital marketing and data consultancy. So owning UCPA makes a lot of sense because they are owning a big piece of UCPA would improve their business, right? Like because UCPA is an established communications and marketing company in Europe. So it would make sense why they would want to own it because they could use their infrastructure and their team and their connections and that, which is kind of cool. With regard to whether or not they're going to merge in, I mean, if they already have a stock symbol on every other market, then it, they couldn't really merge into this because that entity already exists on other markets. Now, is it possible that they could turn this into their foreign ADR? It's possible, but it's a reach, and I love the story. I love the setup and the and everything like that. But how to get it liquid is the big question. Because I was thinking about it today and someone sent it to me and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I said, "It's kind of cool, but I mean, they mentioned this in September and no one and it's gone down ever since. Basically, it hasn't even moved at all. There was the announcement in September. Not a soul on earth cared. Someone really didn't care the other day. They really shit all over. And so now I'm saying, hey, UCPA, I like everything about that, but it can break this line. Like the day that it decides to be not immovable shit would probably coincide with the day that it broke this downward trend line that it's on. And uh, with regard to popular OTC attitudes, which is, well, if I just hold it forever, and even though it hasn't moved in 2 years, if it eventually moves, I'm the winner. I don't agree because, like, you could spend 2 years letting your capital rot here, waiting for someone to notice, and then I just pick it up 2 ticks higher, same day, and then who, so I do like the story, uh, but how do I get ahead this year? I mean, that's really what I'm trying to be about right now. But I do like that story. I don't think so. Let's do a comparison. Okay, you see on the bottom, my head at. You see on the bottom of both of these tickers. So I've got Bitcoin here, November 23rd. I've got CRCW, the matching thing on the bottom, November 2023. Let's go. Bitcoin. It was a nice move. The guy had the opportunity to, I don't know, be an infinity billionaire. Like, I don't think companies that fully understand out here, like, people at this point, with how tough these are and how much they shit on people, I have a feeling that OTC retail would give someone everything they have for a good clean run up. No matter the share structure, I mean, they'd give someone everything they have for a good clean run up, and they could sell all their little shitty shares dollar plus if they want it. I believe at this point people would do that. But these guys can't stay off the tap. This is your like zone with it. So basically what you need to do for the time being is pick it up. If you wanted it now, you'd have to pick it up right away, stop out at 12. If it's just going to continue going down a shit cycle, you need to pick it up at 10, sell it into 19 over and over and over again until it either breaks up or breaks down. But to me, I look at this and I go, it's just like Takumo, right? Like it's a dying heartbeat of dilution. This is it, right? Tons of volume and no price action. What is that? That's dilution. Same with Takumo. Is this ever going to recover? I don't know. Pick it up above 10 and find out. But if you want, Yeah, I think you're right, OTC Life. I think that's how you'd have to go about it. Pick it up if you want, but you've got to be willing to leave. And I think that's that. And then you also have to be willing to consider what your time's worth. And what I'm trying to do is find what's moving today. And that's the art and the science part with this OTC. That's the art part, is timing it correctly because this one, unlike the big board, all these mega rich guys, well, you just keep buying and it always goes up and blah 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 blah. This isn't that. This isn't that. This is not that. This is get a good trade, get out. Look at Fleas the other day. Fleas was a really good trade for a few people. And it wasn't for the rest. And that's because you need to understand the nature of this market. But the amount of times that we're being shown this nature is continuing to make people go, why am I doing this again? But as far as execution, because I see people running around, they're big mad. They're saying, "Oh, this Fleas, this is a pump and dump. How dare they do this?" All you have to do is just say, "Hey, here's where it broke out. There's where it put in a support. Fall below that, and I'm out the door. Period. That's it. It's that simple." But somehow it becomes so complex for people. I did. Yes, I did mention it last week. And I bought it in real time in the OTC Method chat at 0.17. 0.17. It's a very good trade. I bought it in real time. Woke up. Next day, shocker. And then I said, it's time to go. And the reason that it's time to go is because they're going to do a share cancellation. And I also mentioned out of queue here in this video, if you recall, last week. And I said it's time to go. Today will be it. Because of the fact that they have a share cancellation. So this common stock will be canceled. And new stock will be issued. So this is a total loss for anyone who's in it. And that's also part of the reason why I wasn't all about tweeting it, because like in OTC Method, I can say, hey, this is the risk, this is the reality, this is the deal, and this is the scoop. But if I just drop it in a tweet and then some asshole pops by, buys it, doesn't see me on their feed again, and they get share cancellation, that's something that I just couldn't live with. And so I thought, this is one, unfortunately, for the squad. And a lot of the things that I work on are for the squad, because I feel like my best effort should be for people that support me. And that bash, if there's something I don't like, it's not fair for me to just be out there shitting on it on Twitter, because I'm not always right. But if people want to know my real thoughts about stuff that's happening now, that's the OTC Method's the place where I can do it with, free of the nonstop judgment of someone who's bagging it or whatever, you know what I mean? And so that's why I have OTC Method. And that's part of the original reason I made it, was I couldn't be free. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 17, it was a great trade. But that Tide Rock put me in such a nasty place. And then a bunch of other stuff that wasn't moving. I barely celebrated or enjoyed it at all, to be honest with you. Barely enjoyed it. It was too early. So it was around here. I didn't expect it to go to $1. And the reason I didn't is because I saw that the share cancellation was coming, and it was still a really good trade. I can't complain, but I saw the share cancellation was coming, and when a court approves a share cancellation, that's it, right? Like, it can get wiped at any time, and I didn't want to risk it. And I guess a lot of other people were like, what the fuck am I doing here? And so I did too early. I wish I could have wrote it to $1, but like I knew, well, thank you, but I knew that a share cancellation was coming, and I couldn't stress it, because this is a warning to people who are trading these bankrupt stocks. Share cancellations can happen anytime, intraday. Intraday. Back there, look at this IDIQ, done. Intraday. Booked. 12:30 Eastern. Back in the day, I bought a pump and dump from some guy. His name was H Dog. It was a bankrupt stock, and he was pumping bankrupt stocks that he'd loaded. I didn't know anything. It was called Paradigm Offshore. The court approved the share cancellation. And then I didn't know anything. I just was like, well, this guy H Dog, he's an alerter, and I need an alert. And I mean, this was, God, I mean, almost 10 years ago now. Bought it, and I was watching the level 2 at my desk, and it just went blank. Poof. Gone. Share cancellation intraday per the court's approval of their bankruptcy plan. That money was gone forever. That was it. And I didn't know any better. And ever since then, if I see a court approve a bankruptcy plan, I'm sounding the alarm. So, yeah, I wish I had the guts to write it to $1. Yes, I do. But, you know, I've had it happen to me. It's nasty business, man. Nasty business. Let's get through a few of these suckers. What do you say? So I run my list. Advancers, I go to current market activity, current market, advancers, all. Because it defaults to over $1. So I go all. Yes. And then I tab them all open. Heat gold. I don't know what that is.
Heat zone.
Yeah, I've had a really weird week. I almost didn't even want to do this today. You know, because I'm reflecting on how well people are really doing out here, and TPTW is a bag.
Bag.
Fucking deal with it. And I was just wondering, like, I was just like, am I really? Because believe it or not, like, I know everyone likes to just yell at it. Anyone who has a trading service only exists to scam. I really, really don't. I don't. I mean, I really felt that it was an opportunity for me to make a difference for a very small amount of money, to have me captive and focused and making a real difference. And sometimes when I see, you know, like Song get another 100 grand today, or Humble get another 200 grand today, or fucking, you know what I mean? I'm just like, why am I here? I don't know. That's where I'm at. Or this Bomo. I mean, people were all over me. This Bomo. How dare you bash Bomo? How's it going? Like, and so it didn't. There's you after the split. There's you if you held it at the split. Here's your position now. Like your you had trip 2, now you're down 92% on that. What is that? A microgram. Opti, nice second move today. This Gumper, like this is so annoying. People are like, "Oh, what'd you get paid to pump Gump?" I don't do that. I just thought, hey, you guys like trips? Here's a trip, and then it was just 100% dumping. Like, how about this, OTC Method members? If you're with me, I said I can't own this, but I said to you, what $1? I said, look out. This is some weirdo shit if you got the guts, and that EBFI really good. So bravo if you held that. Shittle. Those guys need to leave that. Someone else needs to take that. I'll take it. Tell me a number. I'll take it off your hands and make it not suck. How good was this merger on F-Zero? For real, like this was such a good merger. Crazy nice merger. And $163 today. Crazy, man. Like a legitimately good company. Those guys got to be sitting there like, what? You know what I mean? Crazy. You can see I'm just in deep thought right now. Oh, guys. ECRI 35, you heard this? Gotta watch it. I'll tell you about it. And the reason I stick to it, people are like, oh, just trade options. I can't afford it. Like I'll do it. And then I'll be like, okay, so this, I'm down 60%. Should I just let it go to 100 or? Instantly. It's gotta be this. I know it's slow though. My God. See, my hand's shiny. I got a shiny hand today because look at this. Look at how bad this is. I put cortisone shots in it. It just moved from the top to in between. It's the science, though. I took a bit of that science. Had a couple shots of science. I have these gloves I wear when I'm just around the town. I wear these gloves. Because if I'm around town and grabbing door handles and stuff and they see it, like they don't know it's coming from inside of me. Maybe they think that, I've got some type of like communicable shit. You know what I mean? So I have these that I wear during cuz it's winter anyways, so it's like whatever. And that kind of works at least. The cool look, like really cool. DBMM, they're talking about they hate that Kramer, don't they? I love that psych setup, man. I really do like that psych setup a lot. I hope they do something with it. because that's it. Like, I mean, it's a good setup, and whoever bought that much of it, I hope you have a plan, my brother. Did the Google make me say that? Did the Google make me say it that way? You heard about this that's kind of going on right now, or yeah, there's that UCPA. Get through these, and we'll switch to Dipolini's. You got to take or toss it in, bro. Got to toss it in because
Last chance to load more.
what is this? No filings, no news, no movement, barely any volume. It's gonna pat whatever that is. I don't care. AFUs. This one's a funny one because they're all always be selling. $50K for that move. Looks painty. Take a look. You know what paint is? Someone really made a mistake there. Well, enjoy that. Enjoy that position. This thing is just nonstop selling all the time. Barely any price action. I've tried it a few times over the last couple of years. Got shit on every time. Kind of crawling out of the hole, but what's your time worth? So it really actually is here. That's where all the volume traded. So below the line. Pass on that. Come on, man. I hear you, OTC King. It's very frustrating. Love the setup. Love it. That's not bad. That is not bad, man. Apsy, let's take a look. I feel like this is presenting the illusion of movement. Been on the move a little bit. Too much volume. Bad. Oof. What's the cup like on it? Through it. Hasn't moved. They've not diluted a share since January 18th. Right here. Yeah. Just stopped. Total silence, eh? Like someone fell asleep at the selling wheel. I took some of that DWAC going into the South Carolina primary. Boy, oh boy. All at one, all just now, huh? All just in the 10 minutes? At a front load for something? Just that's it. You would have just sat on your ass for weeks with barely any movement, and then in 10 minutes someone bought that much of it, eh? Got to keep an eye on it next week, but man, I'm scared of getting ghosted on these ones where you don't know what's going on. Why does that one sound so familiar? Carnes. Guys, I 100% selling, nonstop selling on our SPI. 100% dumping all day, every day. So you can buy this and pray if you'd like and ask it to stay above dub one. A1, they say a lot of good things, but then they don't do anything that they say. They just sell and sell and sell and sell. They say, we're going to the QB, and they just sell some more. They're real pieces of shit. So I have a 30 cross set here, but even that, I mean, I don't know if I'd want it. So it can break that. See it? That's how I set these up. That's how I set these up. If I believe that it could be good, that's how I set these up. Like, because I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I guess you could say, well, I don't want to pay up. I don't want to pay up a few ticks. You probably should, because you got to know that someone cares. So there it is there. If you wanted to do that, that's what it would be. See it? Because as long as it's going to continue to do this, it's done it since the fall. I mean, it could technically do this all the way to trips if it wanted. Is this the oh, right. Right. This is the Australian snake oil. So they have this snake oil. It's called zeolite. Have you heard of this? It's called zeolite. It's a we've never looked it up before. Zeolite is a snake oil mineral that has no use other than just being snake oil that they sell to people, like that, and no one other than like drying agents. But there's not really any advantage to using zeolite at all. And NRI, they decided to go the direct. They could have done anything merger wise, and they chose zeolite. And now it has no volume because it's zeolite. And unless they magically, well, I don't love it anymore. Unless someone magically finds a use for zeolite, it's fine. Now, I will say that you could see it's crawling out of the downtrend that I'd set up a while back, and you've kind of got squeaking out. So, I mean, if you wanted to just hold it and find out, you probably wouldn't get in a ton of trouble, but you just have to determine like what your time is worth, because this is just a real dick around, and you could see people bombing out because there's no action. Hey, Joe, okay, I did like the setup. But then they just dumped on it, and now there's no volume. So this is the spot. You want to find out if there's a good merger there, this is the spot. But really rude selling, and I'm fortunate that they wouldn't take the time to notify people as to what the merger is sooner. Like, why? Because people don't want to wait anymore, because when they wait, they get destroyed. So that's why nobody wait. People say, "Oh, these guys have no patience." Why would they? Because sitting in things rarely yields any upside, and people are trying to get ahead in their life, especially this audience. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to pick this up here and wait, this is the support. And I'm shocked that it's back here, but it is what it is. So that's the spot. But am I in it right now? Why would I be? You know what I'm saying? But it is a change of control, and maybe they'll do something with the reverse merger for sure. What are they doing here? I don't know. This AppSy, like I'm looking at it and going, pretty fun, pretty good, pretty good. We haven't heard anything. And then, it's the type of thing that I buy. Like, well, they're buying a lot of 4s. I buy a 4 and then it's instantly back at 2. Like that's how these have been going lately. YCRM, they have an offering. They put out the offering. The floor on the offering's dub 5-ish. People hate that shit. 600 million. Sold cheapies sold to insiders or accredited investors. So I wouldn't expect this to be terribly liquid or have a lot of price action for a long time now. And they broke the trust on the pickle jar deal, and now they're here with zero volume, zero price action. And you can just sit here and wait if you want or not. It's been a complete waste of time, save for a couple of okay trades here and there, but for the most part, not been great. You can see the selling, so you can exist in this above 57 if you like, 55, and hope it appreciates, or not. What the hell this? Oh, this came off the grays recently. No, not that recently, I guess. No ask on it. Bag. This Opti, it's I guess the Brett's coming up with his news next week, and hopefully it becomes hopefully it's news that they like and it becomes a good trade. Above the anchor, which is good. It would be nice if it stayed above dub 3. It would be really important to do that. TCRI, so this is that deal with the Bitcoin guys in Saudi or something like that. And we tried this from 17, if you recall, or 10, sorry, 10. Back in November, moved to 35, sat at 35 for weeks, then sat at 10 again for weeks. And now it's just farting around between 20 and 35. And you could have spent the whole month doing nothing, and you could spend the whole year doing nothing really on this. I don't know why it is that it's such a tough trade, but someone's always selling it around that zone. Some buy, like if this looks encouraging to you, unfortunately, it's always like this. Massive, massive selling around 30. So if they were ever to pop the top on it, I'd be interested to know, at least, because this company that they have merging in did really, really, really well during COVID, 21 to 4. And so you do wonder sometimes if they get this thing underway. I still do. That's something to watch for sure. LRDC, it's so slow, but you wonder, like, there's nobody home basically now, and problem is, it's not a problem, but the issue is that it's really, 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 really slow. But it's also stable and is kind of revving up to just get rid of everyone who was ever in it. And now, to ask it to stay above 25 and see if it could make another big move. Yes, it'll be slow, but just to have a 25 stop there and see if it would make another big move could be a really decent trade, but slower for sure. DBMM, they hate Kramer. And they hate him. You know why they hate Kramer? Because of what he did at the Laugh Factory. He said he called those men out. He said the bad one. He said the bad one to them. And you've never really seen him since, Kramer. He was trying stand up, And he wasn't any good at it. And then he said the biggie. He said the biggie. And they try to squeeze a guy named Kramer. I don't know if it's the same Kramer, but they're trying to squeeze Kramer. They did squeeze Kramer a bit, got some traction on it today. Now it's above the weekly. Excuse me. If you wanted to ask it to stay above sub 5, could be okay. Maybe they want to keep squeezing Kramer. Really a disappointing one, though. I thought they were going to do a lot more with this, and they did a lot of selling. A lot of selling. Tough stuff. That's that. We'll flip to decliners. See if there's any dipsy doodles. They hate Kramer. Because the guy just told Kramer he wasn't funny, and Kramer should have taken a moment to reflect, like I've been reflecting lately, on whether or not what he's doing is of interest to people. But instead, he said the big one to those gentlemen. Dipsy doodles. When I'm looking for dipsy doodles, I need at least 10 grand, because like I can grab a dip on something like, and then never be able to leave. You know what I mean? I don't care about F stocks really that much. Fleas could do a really nice bounce, though. 30 cross on fleas is what you'd probably want to. Because if they want to play the tap game, weep, 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 like turning the dilution on and off, then they could do pretty well on the fleas. So 30 cross fleas, thought. CY every frickin' time this CYIO. And we're doing acquisitions, just not enough now. Like these guys gotta come at it a lot stronger. Excuse me. They gotta come at it a lot stronger. I'm not allowed to breathe anymore either. Every damn time. And there's so many people stuck in it, they make you think like it's really good. GAHC is something that you have to keep in mind come election time. This is a election play. They have voting boxes and electronic voting machines, and GAHC is into voter security. And their post split, it's not a bad trip. They're still selling into it for some reason. But with that being said, come election time, this could become a really relevant opportunity. So do keep an eye on that around the election, which is coming up. Believe it, I can't believe it. But obviously, I don't remember any other elections because I'm so young, but that's an election play. So you'd like to keep that in your mind for sure. Out of queue, share cancellation coming. So see, things aren't even really dipping you. Like we're just vibrating. This is the bullshit I'm talking about, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I can't believe
Bag.
they bought so much of that shrimp the other day. Like, Zerfie's a bag. Best trip. But if you can't give regular folks a reason to buy it, you're right. CJEC is a bag.
Bag.
God bless. REFG's a really good trip. Really nice trip. No catalyst. They were into safe banking, weed banking. You know what I mean? Where do I have that? Yeah.
Hope you're ready for some MJ runners, IMO.
Weed banking. I see them as a possible reverse merger target, to be honest with you, because they're not obviously not doing anything. And so if that got hit with a reverse merger, I would slap the shit out of it. LVGI also is one that needs a reverse merger because the guy who's running it is useless. Totally useless. Has no control over it at all. And whoever's selling into that all the time needs to go. And a reverse merger here on LVGI would be very, very nice. Very good trip. Got some dogs barking upstairs. That's cool. MJNA.
Bag.
Come on. Asra.
Bag.
ASRI. RDAR.
Bag.
SGDH is going to get a reverse merger at some point. I don't know when it'll be, but it's a good setup. It's getting less good. Stall, really good run, really smart run.
Bag.
It's just you just have to understand what the outcome is going to be for most of these, and finally just understand what it is and draw your line and leave when it's time to leave. If you don't do that, excuse me, if you don't do that, you're not doing it right. MD says a Frank.
Bag.
I see you. I remember every single one you're in, Frank. Every single one I remember. And when it comes across my desk,
Bag.
boom. My desk is too busy for that. My desk, boom, right off the desk. Slap it right off. Try and hit my desk. You know what, House Street? I don't really know, and I don't really care. And the reason I don't care is because whether it's tomorrow or 180 days, if it's a really low offering and accredited investors can get it a lot lower, it's going to trade like shit now and then. And chances are people really won't care. And so, like, if people know that people are going to get loaded up at trip 1 or whatever, thanks to the S1, they're not really going to buy it much higher than that. So it's going to start trading like garbage right away. And then there are exceptions to the rule. But with those exceptions, that's where you once again need to just be focused on price action and making sure that you don't go red and challenging it to stay above certain levels. Mazen, they, fool me once. There's a saying in Texas, and it could be a saying in Tennessee, but it's definitely a saying in Texas. Fool me once, won't, fooled again. That's what they say. And Mazen, you gotta, that's the saying. So, you know what I mean? And it's in Texas. It could be in Tennessee. You got to do better. Winners, Wayne Allen Root, cancel his reverse split. It is a 6 setup, 0.0. But this is a great trip setup or a low ass setup. And if this dipstick could get off his ass and do something with it, it would be great. It's a rare good setup, but he is always selling. And every time it gets volume, he just crushes it. But if something changed there, man, there is still tread on those tires. Wayne Allen Root. Wayne Allen Root, just tell me what you want for that ticker. You're not doing anything with it. Give me a price. And you know what? I'm going to turn off the tap completely. Non-stop uppage, forward splits all day long. I don't give a shit. Give me a price, Wayne. Manny. Here's the new deal for Manny Pacquiao. This is from me to you, bud. You're a good boxer, whatever. I guess you're a good boxer. If this falls through the line, if this does not run, you have to fight me. Okay? You have to step to the king. That's it, Manny.
King call.
That's my challenge to you. Cheap hoe. Step up to the king. I'll just do it. I'll just lay right on top of you. How are you going to punch out of that? Do your little tap dance with me. There's an idea for you, Manny. That's my idea. If this herb falls apart, you got to take me on. I'll fly over to the Philippines. Pinoy P. 1 glass of coconut milk and a freaking what fruit do you eat, Manny? What fruit do you eat? Mangoes. 1 mango. 1 mango, Manny. That's all I need. One mango. Where's Salud Esmeralda? Are they doing that, or if they announce it, it'd be great. But these guys just, what's going on, Manny? I'm telling you. I grew up Catholic too, Manny, and I know it's mangoes. Right? No, absolutely not. Absolutely no questions. I mean, I would actually like some questions. Like, that's why I'm here. But with regard to like mangoes, no. Because the thing, Manny, is that there's a lot of people in Canada from the Philippines. Okay, and like I don't want to take them. I don't want to. They can't handle. Well, there's a few that could, but might be able to kick my ass. But you, sir, I don't know if you could. You're welcome to do it. You're well if Herb continues, you're welcome to do it. But if it fails, hand to hand, bitch, hand to hand.
He's really humble, you know?
Okay, well, really, really exciting opportunities there. Am I right? 2 drinks I got. I got 2 drinks going on right. Let's go to not corporate action. Screener. No, I don't. And I never did. I hope this is finally the end of it. And I'm sorry to say to anyone who's like stuck in it, but you've had ample opportunity to leave. ample. And this thing is such a drain. 3 years to put together that shitty deal. What could there possibly be to look forward to now? Thank you, George. Hello, George. I just want to say thank you for your great tweets and being the real king of the OTC. Thank you so much. George, thank you for your jokes. George, I like it when you tweet things that are kind of racist, George. Thank you so much, George. George. Yeah, right. I mean, it's not anything about the guy as a person. It's just I don't see delivery. I don't see any delivery of anything. Like the guy never delivers. And now this thing is so fat and so baked and so cooked and so loaded with resistance. I mean, it would take a miracle to see any upside. Let's say he did raise the money. What now? You get 35% of some blockchain bullshit? Man, oh man, oh man. Last time we screened dub 6 to 01. So let's go 01 to 02, which is not a very popular range anymore. Yeah. Yeah. And the reason, like, because we've seen everything. You know what I mean? So the way I set it up is I go QB and pink, obviously. And then security types, I just go common stock because that's going to get rid of all the foreign ADRs that never move. Right? So then now I've got like clean four letter tickers that are truly pinks. There's a lot of interesting stories in here, a lot. And a lot of opportunities for maybe really good moves in the future. Then what I like to do is I sort them by volume, and I don't sort them by volume because I necessarily need them to have a ton of volume, but it's because the ones with errors, like they're at 01, but they have no ask or whatever, usually will show 0. However, there's only 168 here, so I'll burn through them quick because I know a lot of them well. So I'll take you through them. ADIA has that new guy come in, the new reverse merger, kind of. I'll show that to you. AHIX is not a bad setup. Post split, never really move. This is a really decent setup. ANDR is one of the best setups around. They had a lawsuit against Apple that never really went anywhere, but they've got like a space sound stuff, like special speakers, and they felt that Apple stole their design, but no one really cared that much. I don't know that. Asia Properties never really moved. Axim is a biotech that moves periodically a lot. Like it's kind of like shrimp that way, but it gets fatter and fatter and fatter. BFCH gets fatter every day, and it is a big fat ass, and it's kind of on the move with Bitcoin. It is a Bitcoin play for sure, just not a lot of price action at all. It's just really tough to get ahead here. Really tough to get ahead here, but I guess it's kind of flagging. It's just, you know, I just look at it and go, gosh, you know, here's another tomb for my money to be in. You know, start putting a daily candle through that 15 though, maybe you could get another leg on it. So that Bliss made a great move the other day, right back to flat. BMCS is an agony ticker. Trading it is hell on earth. BMXC, this is still a great setup. I don't think this woman sold a lot. It's the diaper play. I'll tell you about it. Bright Strike, gonna need a spark there. Blue Star Opportunity is a killer setup. They never speak. They never do anything. It's just a stunner. I'll show it to you, but so what? Cap C and Cap V, I'm going to pass on both. Maybe you'll take a look at that. CBDS, I'll pass on that. Canagrow had a change of control, did zero. It barely moved. They totally bungled this. Did a merger nobody gives a shit about at all. It lives at this price. To take it and just be frozen in time's agony. If you're interested in that company, you can look it up. You'd have to just challenge it to stay above 16 is what you'd have to do. So that's that. Boy, I haven't seen this forever. This is a great setup. Curtis Mathis Corp owns Penthouse, but not the magazine, just anything else related to like if you're selling it like the Gross magazine. So if you're selling a lighter that has Penthouse on it, that's Curtis Mathis. And it's really boring. No one ever buys it. Stunner setup would probably need a reverse merger to move. Shiner is a bag. Cananow had a change of control. I thought it was going to be great. I thought it was going to be great. I picked it up, had a great trade on it, but held more of it than I should have and just watched it leak down to zero. Now it's sitting here at a penny where it lived before the change of control. And you've got to ask the question, if they ever turn this up again, they absolutely could. This is where you'd have to be to find out. But it would be one of those ones where you just have spare capital sitting around. Pulf is a pass. Pass on this. Pass. Frank, I see you. I know you.
Bag.
CSOC, I don't really care for
Bag.
it. Not a great setup. Cannabis Swiss, it had its run. It was a good run on the change of control.
Bag.
They never did anything with it. CTGL, I think it's they got a split coming or something. It's a really nasty sucker, a real fuck around. CVAT is a bag. CYO, I believe it to be a bag. Drawer Ortho is no good. Daylight, this is Forever Chemicals, and that ran around the time that the train got derailed almost a year ago now. I can't believe it. EGDD's dying for a reverse merger. They could get one at some point. ELEC was a great run, now completely illiquid. That was it changed my life for a while. Now it's just sitting here, just with the rest of them, just sitting at the bottom of the ocean. You want to live at the bottom of the ocean? There it is, Dub 93. They could certainly bounce it again. I still don't think it's a bad setup either. It's not bad. Electric cars, which are really hot right now. Am I right? 12 break. At least I'd like to know about it, but set an alert for it. ENZC is a bag. You're going to have to deal with that. FAGI, they tried with a reverse merger, got the promo tag, and got dicked around, so that's cooked. Fans Frenzy's a stunner of a setup, just a killer. So good. 2 years ago now, they had announced that they'd done a deal with a Native Canadian tribe for gold. Made a good move, and then never moved again. Just on the bottom of the ocean now, zero volume. You wanted to pick it up, 15 would be your stop. But again, I mean, you time and again, you look at these and you think, I sink, how many of these do I sink my money into to sit? 4W's a bag. Freeze Tag's a great setup, very boring company. They should do a reverse merger is what they should do because it's completely volumeless. GDVM was a good move once, but now it's a bag. Global Poltrusion, which is just gross. Like, how dare you call it that, really? Good setup, but once again, bottom of the ocean, no liquidity, no volume. And the one time it got some volume, it got absolutely flattened by selling. This was, gosh, yeah, in the summer. Just sitting here now, you wanted to see if it'd pop. You just have to sit here and pray over a penny. And oh man, GRMC is not a bad setup. Never gets volume. Hyper Solar's a bag. IGPK, we got to get on with this. We got to do something, guys. Like whatever they want to Jun Fahang, whatever they want to sell. What do you sell? I bet you sell these. Let us know in North America what you're doing. I understand, and I had to retract on their TikTok count in China. They said something about IGPK. Well, that's fine, but it would sure be nice to hear from them, man. It would sure be nice to hear from them on the North American side. It really would. And I don't really know. Now, there is a relatively reliable trade just in this range, and this is what I was talking about in the chat today. You just live in this range, dub 8 to 12, just over and over and over again. You may as well. Nothing wrong with it. But to pick it up here and have it finally break through would be great. Alternatively, you might have to consider at 77. If it lost 77 on pretty high volume, you'd have to ask the question as to whether or not something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? That would be the question for that. Eyeless is a bag.
Bag.
Innie's a custo. That's a great setup and trades like shit because it's a custo now. Pass on that. Eyewall is a phenomenal setup that needs a reverse merger. The guy was just reselling wallets on Amazon, basically. That could a reverse merger here. It's just a killer, I mean, that'd be a dime shot if they merge in a decent company. So certainly something to keep an eye on. KD's Frank, I see you. See,
Bag.
Frank, you think I don't remember pre-COVID, but I remember. I always remember, Frank. I remember 2018. I remember 2017. I remember, Frank. I don't forget, Frank. He was here. Kosk, front-loaded change to oil and gas, dumped all over everyone. Not sure what to do. LGMH, good setup. Live chain. I don't forget, Frank, and I remember before, Frank. That's why I was suspicious. Frank? I was suspicious of you then, Frank, and I was suspicious of you then. LifeChain had a reverse merger with, it sure was, KD. Remember that? And it was a killer trade at the time. Got a caveat emptor, of course. Because I remember, Frank, and they
Bag.
did too, Frank. Lich had a reverse merger that people bought for about 10 minutes, never got volume again. It's a biotech, seems like an okay company, but that's it. Moni Pitt.
Bag.
MYMX. Holy shit. Ah, yeah. Post split. There's a saying in Tennessee. Post split this MY. They say it in Tennessee as well, or are they filling down here? God bless. Empty shell now, looking for a merger. Post split, just crazy thin. But how do you get it? You'd have to get it. You'd have to get it on bid. Did they ever fill bids? No. Neuragen, fool me. Pickle jar, you fool me once in Texas. You're not going to fool me in Tennessee, ho. Oh, nice setup. HVAC company, super boring. Playbox gets some volume sometimes, never really moves. It's agony. Saccolini, this is a sack play. They've got children's books. Really nice. Really nice. God help me. You wonder if at some point, maybe the children's books could talk about. I don't know what I could say on this platform. But books are really hot right now. Children's books are a really hot topic at the moment. Wee! I think a lot of the children's books, a lot of them have sacks in them, don't they?
You bashed it.
So what? On the bottom of the ocean? Cineback Ocean. TPIA, I think they've got a split coming or something. A nice setup, very dull. TGNT is an AI play, believe it or not. No one cares. Ocean. Tide Rock, back to the ocean. Back to the ocean. Should I consider on Tide Rock a 30? Because the one thing about Tide Rock I did like was that news, and I didn't mind the AS reduction. I'm going to set a 30 alert and think about it. The children's books have sacks in them. World split coming now, I believe. Business failed. Wolf, Ocean, Windfart. I'm just
Bag.
thinking back to how much time people spent adding Windfart. And GVSI did it? Like how much of our peers' money is here, I wonder. Just sunk. You know, and the thing that's hard about a Pittman is like no one could have said anything to you once upon a time, right? Like because I had tried to say, you know, it's time to ease up because I'm concerned there's no delivering, but you wouldn't have heard me. You know, you have to go through it yourself. You know what it's like with some of these picker cults? It's like a teenager with a bad boyfriend or girlfriend. You can't tell them shit. They have to get their heart broken on their own. Son X, this guy's the worst. Dreadful. Vapor had a okay bounce, I guess. Unfortunately, the cars they make are only on GTA 5. Like, could any of the cars like be in Earth instead of GTA 5 or? I have some artwork related to that. I think you're gonna like it. Because I make art, you know. There he is. There's one of his cars. But it's only in GTA 5. That's the problem. I'm an artist. Sandwich artist. Soon to be one again.
Heat Zone.
Come on. Ocean. ADIA had this change of control to this guy who was involved in some other scam ticker. Old school scammer. Change of control recently. Really low volume. Really low. Good setup, though. You know, you just wonder if one of these guys finally wants to let one of these changes of control buck. Break 21. If there's some bid support there, I think you have to watch it. AHIX, it's always selling. Always selling. No matter what you do on AHIX, someone's always selling. ALDS is it still good? It's still good, but it's just gross. Like, this is ocean. The amount of ocean on these is shocking, and it's terrifying. Ocean. Great setup, but ocean. Ocean. Man, that CBIA is one nasty fucker. And, you know, I wouldn't touch it because it's not that I don't appreciate that it moved, but I'm always like, okay, will I wake up tomorrow and get cooked again? Because that's what it always does. And so I was like, you know, I can't do it. And people were like, man, you're such a boomer, man. You're such a dinosaur, man. And I'm always like, no, it's just like, I don't know how to be calm in it. I didn't. And it made me very unpopular. We sure are dying, but I'm not done yet. Made me very unpopular because they did it once, twice, thrice a lady. Thrice a lady. You heard this song? They tried to bounce us. These guys look for treasures in the ocean. Made a move the other day and then just got flattened with dilution, and now they try to bounce it a little bit. But this BMAX, man, she's not selling. I'm telling you, she's barely selling. She makes diapers. Look at this. Like, would it be crazy? Like, on a post-split basis, there are no shares here. She's barely selling. Like, would it be crazy to chill out here around 01 and see if she gets a big rip on it? Because she's the type, like, she got a deal at Kroger. She's the type to pop up and say she's got some shit at Costco. Like, she's running a real business. Would it be insane to just be there on this ocean? Because this ocean doesn't have a lot of water in it. Like, this is a very shallow ocean. You might want to think about that. I went over time. I could go all day, but, you know, GE.